To add a new controller to our domain service, we have to go here to the administrator of the server, tools, DNS, click on our server and click on reverse look for. We are going to right click on it here and add a new zone, new space. We go to click next. I'm going to leave this by default in the principal zone. I'm going to let this also in default, and I'm not letting IPv6 into I want IPv4, and I'm going to put here the network I'm right now, that is 192.168.1, and we click on next, and only allow dynamic secure actualizations, and we click on next, and we end this. Now to make this controller see the new machine that we have created to be a controller, first of all we have to be in the same network as the first controller. So we press Windows R, we go into control, network and internet, change the configuration of the adapter, click right properties in internal network, IPv4, and I'm going to put an IP address that is in the network, and here in the preference DNS I'm going to put the IP address from here, from the first controller, that is this one, and we click accept and accept. Now I'm going to add this machine to the domain service. So I go to the file system, but before that I'm going to do a SIMD to make a ping to fernando.com. That is going to reply me to the IP address 1.1. After that we go to the file explorer, this system properties, can change configurations, change, and I'm going to call it server to Fernando, and I'm going to click on domain and put fernando.com. That is the name of my domain, and we put the administrators and its password. And it's saying that he was correctly added to the domain fernando.com, and that we have to restart the system to apply the changes. So we restart. And now after we restarted, if we go to the properties of the system, here we can see the name of the system was updated, and we are in the domain called fernando.com, and if we go to the users and systems from Active Directory and computers, we can see that server/2 Fernando has been added to the domain. Here in the second controller that we are going to make, instead of logging in as the administrator, we are going to select another user. We are going to put administrator arroba fernando.com and the password. So we log in with the account of this machine, so we can have access to promote the next. Domain service. and a DNS server. Then we click on next, and install. And before that we select yes, so that this restarts after the installation. And we restart. We have to go to this flag that is saying to us that we have to promote this to a domain controller. We are going to add this controller to a domain that is existing right now, that is this one. And here in the domain we put the name of the domain, that in this case is fernando.com. We click on next. We put a password for the security, and we click next. We're going to reply, copy all the data from the first server, this one, and we click next. These are the files that are going to be saved, the configuration. This is the resume, and we go to we click into install, and after it has installed, it is going to restart the system automatically. Now it's logging out of, I'm going to restart. So if I close this window and wait a few seconds, it's going to restart everything. If we go to users and systems of Active Directory and we go to domain controller, we can see that this is this machine and this is this other. Now I'm going to change the IP address in the DNS. Here we have the IP address of the first server, the first controller, 1.9, 1.1. I'm going to put the IP address from the other controller to the preferred DNS and my own IP address to me. And here the same, 1.2 and 1.1, that is this computer, and myself. And we click on accept, and accept. Now to check that everything was well done, we get into the tools and the DNS. This is the second controller. We go to the direct zone, fernando.com, and we go double click. We can see that server /chief/Fernando is here, and the other server, that is this one, is here. And we also have these three things that mean that everything is well done. Now we go to the first controller that we created, that is this one, and we do exactly the same, and it's going to appear exactly the same. So everything was well done. Okay, now we have to check if everything was extremely well done. So we go to sites and services from Active Directory, and we go to sites, servers, server 2, or whatever one of these. We selected NTDS settings, right click, all of the tasks, check the topology of the replication, and everything was checked. And we have to update the container. So we do the same here, and it's going to say the same. So we click on sites, right click, update, and now we selectionate here in the second server that we have created. Right click on NTDS and we click on reply copy right now. It's going to make all the connections, so everything that we have here in the first server is going to be copied here. To check all these changes have been applied, we go to the server, the second controller we have created. We go to tools, and we go to users and systems from Active Directory, and if everything was well done, we'll have this, that we have the users that we also have here. The same users with the same privileges, everything the same. Now here in the new subdomain that we're going to create, we go to Windows R, we go to Control. I'm going to change the configuration of the network so they see each other. Here in the internal network, I'm going to use the next IP address, that is going to be 192.168 and 1.7, and in preference of the DNS, I'm going to put the IP address of the first domain controller, that is 1.9. I click accept and accept. Now to check that everything was well done, I'm going to ping fernando.com, and now it replies us with 1.1. We go to the file explorer, the system properties. I'm going to change its name here in change, and I'm going to call it subdomain / Fernando, and I'm going to click here and put domain fernando.com and click accept. Click accept. It's going to be a editor, and I was correctly added to domain fernando.com, and we have to restart the system to apply the changes. So we restart. Straight, add roles and characters, next. We click on server DNS, add characters, and services from Active Directory domain, and we click next until it lets you install. We close this window, and we must restart to apply the changes. Controller of the domain, so we click on that. We are going to add a new domain to an existing forest. So this is the first domain, and this is the subdomain that is going to be called patata, and we change. We have to change this to the administrator account of this computer, so we click next. We put the password we want, and we click next. Name of NetBIOS, we click next. Next, and finally, when it lets you, click install, and it has completed correctly the configuration of the subdomain, and we are restarting the system. So we close this window, and if we wait a few seconds, it's going to restart the computer, and we will have our subdomain completely installed. Now we go to the principal server, the first controller, and we go to users and systems of Active Directory, and in computers we can see that subdomain Fernando has been added to the computers. And if we go to tools again and domains and relies in Active Directory, we can see that fernando.com, and inside fernando.com we have patata.fernando.com, and everything is well. Once we have installed the Windows Server in 2019, first of all we go to change the hour and date that we have here. So adjust hour and date, adjust hour automatically, and we have to take the hour that we are right now in the country and adjust the hour automatically activated. After that we go to the internet, because we need to change the internal network. I'm going to put to this machine the 1.9 and in the preference of the DNS I'm going to put 127.0.0.1 and then accept. After this we need to go to the search bar and we are going to look for updates. We click in the first one, and if our system needs to be updated, it will show here the updates. For example, I have all of these and it's installing all of them. After this we'll need to restart and our system will be updated up to the time that we are right now. After this we only need to go to the file explorer, this system, right click, properties, and we are going to change the name of this computer, this new domain. I'm going to call it pizza server, and I click accept. And it's saying to us that we have to restart the system to apply all the changes. Accept and close these windows, and I'm going to restart later because I want all the updates that we have here to be installed. We can see that if we go here to system in panel control, the name of the system has changed and is server, pizza server. Now we need to go to the administration of the server and administrate, add roles and characters, next, next, and next. We are going to install the server DNS. We are also going to select domain active directory services, add characters, and we click next, 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 next until it lets you install. After this we'll need to restart the system. It has been installed correctly, so we close this window and then we restart. Now here in the server there is this flag with the promotion of the controller that we need to do because we have installed the services from Active Directory. We're going to create a new domain that is apart from the one that we have, so we're going to call it this one pizza.com, and we click next. We put a password for this controller domain. We click next, we click next, we click next, and these are the files, this is the resume, we click next. It is checking the requirements, and now everything, all the requirements were well done, and we click on install. After it has been installed, it will log out and restart the system automatically. can see that is going to restart the system, and we are going to log out, and the server was configured correctly as a controller of the domain. If we wait a few seconds, it will restart automatically. Now, if we try to log in the server, it's going to appear to us that we are logging in the domain pizza. So first of all, we are going to the principal. The first of all, that is fernando.com. We're going to tools, DNS. We should update this, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do it later. We go to conditional resenders and right click on it and new resend conditional. I'm going to put here pizza.com and here his IP address, that is 1.9, and it doesn't matter if it is with a cross, and we click accept. Now if we go here, it will appear as pizza.com. We have to do the same, tools, DNS, and here in server pizza, conditional resenders, a new conditional, and I'm going to put here fernando.com, and here I'm going to put its IP, and I click accept, and we can see that it's here. Now to check everything was well done, we go to the CMD, and if we do a ping fernando.com, it should reply us from 1.1 correctly. We are 1.9, remember that. And if we come back to the server and ping pizza.com, it should reply us with 1.9. Now I want to make the reliance in between the two domains, fernando.com and pizza.com. I'm going to do this entering tools, then domains and reliance. Here I'm going to right click on fernando.com, properties, reliance. I'm going to click on new reliance. I'm going to click next. I'm going to put the number of the domain, that is in this case pizza.com, because I want to make a relation of reliance with this domain. Next, I'm going to select a reliance of forest. We click next, bidirectional, each other to each other, peer to peer. We click next. I'm going to select that we are going to create the two relation because it's easier. We did next. I'm going to put here the password. We shouldn't do this because this is not secure, but in this project we can do this because it's not going to work for an enterprise. But in an enterprise we should select the other and make the relationship one in this computer, and then in this computer the relation. But it's more it costs more time, so I'm not going to do this by this form. I'm going to left this by default. I click next, 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 and next. I'm going to select yes, and yes, and next, and end. Now we can see that pizza.com is in yes, pizza.com is in yes, and we have the reliance well done. And if we click accept, it will be all of this applied. Now we go to the pizza.com domains and reliance here, and if we right click on it and properties, we can see that in reliance we have Fernando.com here, and the lines were made really good.